What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. With the Falcon and the Winter Soldier nearing its end and starting to wrap up, we're starting to see more and more superpowered individuals in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Some new, some returning faces, but with Zemo ending up on the raft now after being taken from the Dora Milaje, one's gotta ask, is the supervillain prison really the best place for this guy? Or will this just make it easier for him to start the Thunderbolts? After all, in the comics, he was the one who formed the Thunderbolts as this new incarnation of the Masters of Evil. But who exactly has been part of this villain dream team? Well, I'm Taylor McWatters, and here are the top 10 most powerful Thunderbolts members. Let's count them down. Kicking off the list at number 10, we have Atlas. He made his first comic book debut as Atlas in 1996, in Incredible Hulk issue 449. Meet Eric Jostin. He started out as an American soldier turned mercenary. During a delivery to South America, Baron Zemo's ionic ray was used by Amura, the Enchantress, and it infused him with ionic energy. He then joined the Masters of Evil, but this time he was Power Man. Later on, he was mutated by Pym Particles himself, and then he became Goliath. And then finally, he became Atlas when he joined the Thunderbolts. Atlas can fly, he's immortal, he has super strength, he can grow his size, big and small, he's pretty sick. I really hope we get to see Lawrence Fishburne's Goliath turn into this character in the MCU. I mean, Ghost was also a Thunderbolt at one point in the comics, and the two of them were both in Ant-Man and the Wasp. So perhaps we're closer to this dream team than we thought. And before we continue on with this list, guys, if you want to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, that would be great. It really does help our channel out so much. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for your support. Now let's get right back into the list. Number 9, Venom, Matt Gargan. He first entered the comics in Amazing Spider-Man issue 19, and in the very next issue, he was branded new enemy of Spider-Man, the Scorpion. That's right, Matt Gargan. He is a former private investigator hired by J. Jonah Jameson to find out just how exactly Peter gets those A1 photographs of Spider-Man. But he is Spider-Man, so this task was never easy, of course. It wasn't working, so Jameson paid Matt 10 grand to have this experiment done, this experiment that gives him new abilities. This came from Dr. Farley Sitwell, and Gargan turned into the Scorpion, which we're probably going to see in the next Spider-Man movie as well, which is pretty fun. Egghead recruited Scorpion for the Masters of Evil, but after they were captured and released, Egghead didn't come back to recruit Matt again. Just didn't make the cut the second time around. Pretty rude. But down the road, Norman Osborn recruited Scorpion and was ordered to kidnap Aunt May. So during this mission, the symbiote found him, they connected through their hatred for Spider-Man, and they bonded. So now we have this guy. And he joined the Thunderbolts in issue 10. The government outfitted the symbiote with electrical implants just to keep him in line, you know? He worked for the government first in a rehabilitation program for criminals, and then he joined on the more popular Thunderbolts roster, Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers. Agent Venom, Eugene Thompson, was also recruited by General Ross at one point to join his team in Volume 2 of the Thunderbolts, so there's been more than one version, which I'll get into a little bit later on. Number 8, BATROC the Leaper. I have to include George BATROC, I mean, because he's finally back in the MCU in Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're probably going to see more of him as well. I mean, the writer for Falcon and Winter Soldier, Derek Kolstad, has stated himself that characters from the earliest Marvel movies are coming back for this show. He was actually in Captain America the Winter Soldier. He was played by Canada's finest, George St. Pierre, and he was first introduced into Marvel Comics back in Tales of Suspense, issue 75. He finally joined the Thunderbolts after he and Shocker were trying to plan a heist. They actually ran into the Thunderbolts instead. And like I said, we're seeing him return to the MCU, and it just happens to be the time where John Walker is freaking out as a US agent, and Zemo just got arrested. So things are moving in a fishy way. Number 7, Red Hulk. He made his first appearance in Incredible Hulk issue 1 as General Ross, but come the first issue of Volume 2, Ross went beast mode and became one of the Hulk's greatest threats. Red Hulk was created using gamma radiation, just like the Hulk, but what makes him even more of a threat is the fact that he also has cosmic rays added to his mix. So the Red Hulk doesn't get stronger the anger he gets like Bruce, he actually gets hotter as well, physically. He starts to burn up, he gets red hot. And after the Phoenix War, Ross put together the Strike Team, and their first issue begins in Thunderbolts Volume 2, with him as the leader. Number 6, Juggernaut. Kane Marco made his first comic book appearance in X-Men issue 12. Kane and Charles Xavier were serving together in the same unit in the military, but when Kane was under fire, he ran off to take cover in this nearby cave. Now that cave, of course, was actually home to the lost temple of Sidorak, so Kane grabbed this glowing ruby from the lap of an idol, read the inscription, and now he possesses the power of the Crimson Bands of Sidorak. Kane joined Luke Cage's Thunderbolts in issue 144. When the Serpent was freed by Skadi, he called 7 hammers to Earth. The Juggernaut became one of those hammers. And then he destroyed the supervillain prison, the Raft, allowing the others to fly away. Now, I feel like this would be a sweet introduction for the mutants in the MCU, if like 3 of them just broke Zemo out, or the rest, oh my god, I'd scream. Number 5, Moonstone. She made her first comic book debut in Captain America 192. Carla Sofen was a psychiatrist, but instead of helping her patients, she sent them into paranoia instead. So she wasn't the best, that's for sure. This life choice, of course, led her down the path to become a villain, I mean, obviously, and she started out as an assistant to the Dr. Faustus. Eventually, she made her way to Lloyd Block, the original Moonstone, and then she poisoned him with hallucinogens, and then she made him hand over, well, the Moonstone. The Moonstone is a Kree device that grants its users tons of power. So yeah, it's not a bad thing to want that. We can see this exchange happen in the Incredible Hulk issue 299, and that's when it gets real. She gives the Hulk quite a run for his money. Now, she joined the Masters of Evil and went against the Avengers numerous times. She was actually one of the villains that stepped up once the Avengers went missing. She was on the Thunderbolts team, but she called herself Meteorite. Number 4, SKAAR. Joining the Thunderbolts in issue 175 of those Dark Avengers that I mentioned earlier, we have SKAAR. He is terrifying. I love him. He originally made his debut in World War Hulk issue 5. He was conceived during the Planet Hulk storyline. He's actually the son of Hulk and Kyra the Oldstrong. So after the Hulk spent some time on SKAAR, he started to spend some time alone. Now, after the Hulk had just left the planet, SKAAR had popped out in this cocoon, and he resembled a teenager after just 1 year. He was growing quite fast. Now, given the fact that he was born on this not-so-chill planet, he learned how to fight for his life, like right off the bat. It was normal to him. He hunted for survival. So SKAAR retains something called the Old Power. So he has the ability to control tectonic energy. He can summon lava and magma, and he can also tap into energy projection as well. Out of all the children of the Hulk, SKAAR easily hits the top of that list. He was sent through a wormhole to Earth after he was excluded from the planet, going against his cousin She-Hulk and the Fantastic Four. SKAAR ended up joining Norman's Avengers team, but he ended up being a double agent who was actually on Steve Rogers' side all along. So if we do get this powerful member of the Thunderbolts, maybe he'll just end up being on the good side the whole time. Who knows? Number 3, Red Leader. AKA The Leader, we have Samuel Stearns. He made his first comic book debut in Tales to Astonish, issue 62. He was working one night at a chemical research plant, and when he was moving canisters of waste material, one of those canisters popped open and covered him in gamma radiation. Now, Stearns survived just like Banner did in his similar situation, but it affected him in a different way. He went from being smart to becoming a genius, basically, and his brain could absorb more and more information. It gets quite big. It's kind of gross. It got to a point where his physical body starts to mutate, so now he has this giant green or sometimes red brain. I mean, he certainly looks like a villain, that's for sure. So he started to refer to himself as the leader, using his intellect to become a criminal mastermind. Now, he clashed with the other Gamma guy, Banner. In fact, he actually ruined Betty and Bruce's wedding at one point. And then finally, we saw the Red Leader join the Thunderbolts in Volume 2, Issue 6. I would love to see a Sam Stearns on the big screen, honestly. We need a smart guy, a smart villain with a big brain. We got one of those in the Avengers game. He's kind of cool, so live action wouldn't hurt. Number 2, Radioactive Man. Dr. Chen Lu was a physicist working for the Communist Party of the People's Republic of China, and he was exposed to, of course, as you would have guessed, high levels of radiation, as his name probably tips you off. He was given superhuman abilities. He was able to emit high levels of radiation, so it's no doubt this guy was pretty useful on a Thunderbolts team. He made his first appearance in Journey into Mystery, issue 93, and he joined the Thunderbolts in New Thunderbolts, issue 3. There have been many teams. I know, it's kind of confusing. He joined them after they declared their intention to stop these Atlantean villains, the Fathom 5, when they were attacking China. And then in New Thunderbolts issue 5 and 6, we see Radioactive Man as part of the main roster when they go and attack New York City. And finally, number 1, we have Songbird. Fans actually thought we were going to see Songbird on the big screen in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but it actually turned out to be Carly Morgenthau, a different version of Flag Smasher. So who is this Songbird that we all wanted? Who were we expecting here? Melissa Gold made her comic book debut in 1997 in The Incredible Hulk issue 449. She ran away from her parents at a young age, and whilst developing a hard knock life attitude, she ended up becoming a professional wrestler. And she gave herself the stage name Screaming Mimi, and she joined the wrestling crew, the Grapplers. So the Grapplers were just straight killing it, but they weren't making the same amount of money as the male wrestlers were. Rings a familiar bell. So they took on a job with Roxxon Oil Company, and now of course the mission failed because Quasar came in and had to save the day. Typical hero stuff, loser. So Melissa was given vocal cord implants that provided her with acoustic kinetics, hence her first nickname, Screaming Mimi. She can make all these crazy weapons with her voice, and she even has the ability to craft herself wings and fly. She joined the Masters of Evil in Avengers issue 271, but when she could no longer use her powers, Zemo came in again, but this time his accomplice, the Fixer, gave her new powers with these new neck implants. Well guys, there you have it. Are you looking forward to possibly seeing a live action version of the Thunderbolts in the MCU? Of course we are. Let us know in the comments down below who you're expecting, who you want to see join the team. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I've been your host, Taylor McWatters, and we'll see you next time on Top 10 Nerd. Peace.